Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of RavenRook Plays called RavenRook Reviews. Today, we'll be looking at a visual novel that offers quite a unique experience. So, with the spooky season right around the corner, why don't y'all grab yourself a mug of Christmas cheer and settle on in for the review of a lifetime. Developed by Black Tabby Games, this visual novel has an art style that I truly love. It sort of reminds me of Maurice Sendak a la Little Bear, with the kind of etchings in the background that add definition and make it seem so old-timey. The soundtrack, while it has a few examples that I think are quite good and strong kind of compositionally, much of the soundtrack actually just sort of, I didn't really notice all that much. This is probably one of the stronger selections from the soundtrack. Most of it, though, it was just like background. It made sense to be there, but it wasn't noticeable. Now, if we click start here, we get to choose our name, which isn't all that uncommon in the genre. We get to choose where we're from, and we get to choose our preferred pronouns, which they say does not impact gameplay, and that's true. So you can, if your preferred pronouns are he, him, they, them, or she, her, you have your selection that you can make. Now, the truly unique part of this game is that you get to choose 2 traits that unlock additional paths and dialogue options in the game. One of the main criticisms of the visual novel genre, and we could actually extend that to other video game genres too, such as RPGs, particularly JRPGs, is that you really don't, you really just kind of insert yourself into the shoes of the protagonist. And this is someone who is usually bland, not a lot of defining characteristics, or much going on inside, and that's to facilitate your kind of jumping into their shoes. But what makes this a unique experience is you actually do, if you want, you can choose traits that you actually identify as having. So when I did this playthrough, I chose keen eye and book smart because I think those are relatively true about me. Now, I don't know a lot of fun facts, but I like to research, and I was a straight A student when I was in school. But we have powerful build, mystical, talk to animals, street smart, and, of course, hot as the other selections here. And what I love about this is you can choose to play it true to yourself, or more true to yourself than perhaps other visual novels might let you. Or, it also offers great replay value because you can choose some of these other selections as well. Now, the one criticism I'd have of this is Keen Eye and Booksmart had a lot of overlap. So even though the nuance behind why I could make that selection if it were Keen Eye as opposed to Booksmart might be slightly different, it usually resulted in the same outcome, or it usually resulted in my character jumping to the same conclusion. So that wasn't quite so strong, but if I had chosen 2 perhaps more different traits, that wouldn't have been as noticeable. But be that as it may, this offers quite the unique experience. Now, the premise of this visual novel is that we're on a bus on our way from the big city, so perhaps I shouldn't have chosen Dayton, Ohio as my hometown, because that's really not a big city, but we are your classic city slicker on our way to a very small town in, I believe, North Carolina, but it's somewhere in the South. I'm pretty sure it's North Carolina, though. And we're going there because our aunt has just died, and our own mother has died recently as well. So we're going there to attend the funeral for a part of our family that we've really never had any interactions with. They were barely spoken about by our mother because she had such bad feelings toward them. So this is the first time we're really kind of getting to know that side of the family, and of course, there's a dark history there. Actually, there's a lot of dark history there. This family, founded the coal mine in the town that really helped the town experience a boom and grow to what it eventually became. But that also came with a host of problems like child labor and stealing land and being on the wrong side of the Civil War, little stuff like that. So, the good with the bad. But because of that, there's this kind of feeling of kind of reverence or fearful respect for the Scarlet family. Yet there's also this kind of more hushed, like, resentment and mistrust. Now, what I really think stands out, or is the game's strongest point, is the writing. The writing is absolutely excellent. It is a joy to read. I had to read a bunch of lines of dialogue for my playthrough, and I never tired of it. It never felt like a chore. Were there occasional cliches? I mean, it's a decaying estate that's precariously perched on a hilltop, right? Over a cliff. So, yeah, there were some cliches, but it was also very inventive and novel. So perhaps second to the writing, the other greatest strength of this visual novel experience would have to be the characters. So we just had Tabby there, who is our cousin that we have never met before, and she's very cold and distant to us at first. But as we get to know her and get to know about her life and kind of her experience in this town, um, we get to sympathize with her, and she opens up to us. And if you choose the right dialogue options and play your cards right, you actually get her to crack a smile. I know, hard to believe with that sour face right there, but eventually she does crack a smile. Now, another character of note would have to be Stella and her adorable little pug Gretchen. Um, I gotta say, Gretchen probably stole the show. I mean, that is one cute little dog right there. But Stella is your your average YouTuber who hunts down cryptids. I mean, you can tell by her shirt, Mothman. That's the other thing, is they just have a bunch of little details, like the clothes that they wear, um, I guess other ways that they choose to present themselves that really bring to the forefront their personalities. Clearly a lot of thought went into sort of how these characters are presented so that it's more than just the writing there, but the overall presentation of the characters themselves. Really a lot of thought went into it, and Stella is probably one of the strongest characters in my book. She's a YouTuber, but she's more than that. She has kind of a troubled past, just like we do. A lot of characters in this game grew up without one or both parents, which is just there's a lot of suffering in this town. But Stella's actually the reason we kind of get involved in the mystery behind what makes this town so cursed. She invites us along to go help her film for her YouTube channel in the woods, and we run into some pretty freaky stuff on our first night in Scarlet Hollow. Things that, once we've seen, we can't go back. We have to see this through and figure out the mystery. And good lord, what a mystery it is. This is Kanika, by the way, the bespectacled character. She is our resident skeptic. She's kind of the counterbalance to Stella's more out there theories that this is all cryptids. Kanika has more of a grounding effect of, no, we can explain this rationally, we can explain this with science. I mean, come on, she's bespectacled. Obviously, she's the smartest one in the group. But I just love the expressions that little Gretchen makes all the time, looking at Stella's phone. But we end up doing a lot of research in order to kind of solve this mystery that leads us to kind of meld together the past with the present. What Scarlet Hollow was and how it was founded and the problematic nature thereof, mixed with what it's become today. And that's what I love about this. It's we're not transported to some faraway place or some alternate reality or to the past, but we're right in the present, in this little town, and we're bringing bygone eras into the forefront in order to kind of get to the bottom of this mystery. Now, the dialogue options generally have some pretty impactful consequences, I must say. Another major criticism of this genre is that your choices really don't matter in the long run. But I have to say that with the relationships with the various characters, as well as different outcomes, there seem to be a lot of impactful consequences. And as you can see, we have some normal sort of dialogue options or actions that we can take, and then we have that Booksmart option that's only available to us because we chose Booksmart. And then we have item options, which we might have something on our person that we can then make use of at certain moments. Now, the joke one here is boiled peanuts. In various saves, I've tried to give the boiled peanuts to different people, and it's always met with the same reaction of disgust and disappointment. So I don't know if they were trying to make a statement that, like, this choice really doesn't matter or what they were trying to do there, but it was pretty funny. Even an opossum living in our dresser drawer turned down the boiled peanuts. So that's how disgusting this particular sample of boiled peanuts is. Now, this game is currently in early access. There are 2 episodes out, and the developers plan it to be a 7-episode project. With that in mind, the first episode is actually free on Steam at this point, and to purchase early access and get the first 2 episodes, it's $19.99 on Steam. So the real question is, do I think it's worth the price? With a glowing review that I've just given, absolutely. For $19.99, you get access to some really great writing, amazing characterization. This game has so many strengths that I had to struggle in my playthrough to point out some very minor flaws. And this game is already so much better than a lot of the visual novels that we're inundated with in this genre, with kind of just crippling reliance on generic conventions. This game definitely stands out, and you won't be sorry you played it. So if you're looking for a mystery experience this spooky season that offers an immersive gameplay where you feel like your choices really do matter and that you're not just inserting yourself into some generic protagonist's shoes, but you can really kind of use your imagination and have the character take shape in your mind, this is definitely the game for you. And at the price it's at, I mean, it's a great deal. So I highly recommend Scarlet Hollow. And I really enjoyed my experience, and I'm definitely going to go back and play it again for the different outcomes you can get with the different traits. So give it a shot. Why not? First episode's free, so at least do that if you're still on the fence.